I walk slowly down the stairs to the lower level of the Varrock Museum, briefcase in hand. I was fully prepared to make notes during what should be a thought-provoking and insightful interview. Walking around the staircase, I find an inconspicuous door that has been left ajar. I knock.
Come in.
I carefully push open the door. Opening the door reveals a clutter-filled office and a singular desk in the middle of the room, with a large male red dragon sitting at it. A pair of piercing yellow eyes peer over the top of the dragon's oddly shaped glasses.
How may I be of service?
Reporter Jack Cadarn sits down with RuneScape's most iconic professor, Mr. Mordaut. Mr. Mordaut has been involved in revealing all sorts of amazing historical knowledge, from the legendary dragon riders to uncovering much of the information we know about the Dragonkin race. Not only that, he is also the research lead of Fossil Island, or the now so-called Anachronia. It's an absolute privilege to be sitting down to conduct an interview with him today. Mr. Mordaut, it's a pleasure speaking to you today. Thank you so much for your time.
Not at all, Jack. I was most pleased to receive your invitation for an interview.
I feel that I must start with the unexpectedly large office. This room isn't large really, especially for a dragon like yourself, but it seems far too large for the space you should be able to fit under the staircase above us.
Dimensional architecture. My office is actually a pocket universe similar to lots of adventurer houses. The door you just walked through, it is actually a portal to another place.
I take a second look around the barely big enough office, contemplating. I then turn back to Mr. Mordaut. If space isn't an issue, Mr. Mordaut, then why is your office still so small?
That's the wonders of budgetary cuts, I'm afraid. Commonplace in museums and research centres nowadays.
I ask Mr. Mordaut about his work. Firstly, he looks at me, intending to clarify the question.
Do you mean my more modern work?
Yes, we'll start with that.
A while ago now, during the Fifth Age, I worked for the mysterious old man as a teacher.
Ah, yes, I have heard stories about your teaching days from other adventurers. Apparently, you were pretty strict with exam marking.
Yes, that's right. I suppose I was. I was under strict instructions by the mysterious old man, you see. Don't let any adventurers back into Gielinor if they cannot answer 3 questions correctly in a row. He was a strange fellow.
Could you tell us a little bit about how that opportunity arose?
Yes, absolutely. At one of the mysterious old man's excellent fondue parties, he approached me and asked if I would have any interest in converting my classroom into a place where random adventurers could be educated. It sounded like a fantastic opportunity, to be honest, and so I accepted with much excitement. It was a brilliant piece of luck, actually, as I was a bit fed up at that particular party, as the drunken dwarf and Dr. Jekyll had eaten all of the melted cheese.
I laugh at his apparent joke, but abruptly stop as he shoots me a rather serious look. Something tells me you didn't find that situation too funny, Mr. Mordaut. Can I ask why you look so serious?
Well, I am a Chegan, Jack.
I look at Mr. Mordaut blankly. What's a Chegan, Mr. Mordaut?
A Chegan is an individual who only eats cheese and cheese-related products. I cannot stand the taste of meat or human.
Mr. Mordaut looks down, as if he is trying to access a particularly painful memory. He regains his composure and starts to speak.
A very long time ago, when I was a tiny fledgling, I was forced, shall we say, to eat an adventurer to prove my aptitude for violence. But it did not feel right to consume humans and, by extension, meat, so I spat out the adventurer and never ate one again. From that moment on, I became a strict Chegan. My father, if such a term can even be used, Tarakat the Necromancer, discarded me as a failure after that.
I feel a pit in my stomach after realising that I had laughed at a very inappropriate moment. Not a great start for my first high-profile interview. Mr. Mordaut, I'm so sorry for laughing before. That is an absolutely terrible thing to have gone through.
My life has gone extremely well since that time, Jack. There's no reason to apologise. It's water under a bridge as far as I'm concerned.
I'm glad to hear that. I appreciate you clearing the air. So, if we may return to the interview, Could we take a moment to talk about your experience as a commentator at the Gielinor games in summer of 169 of the Fifth Age?
Ah, yes. I had such a wonderful time commentating at those games. I discovered that dragons are particularly fascinated with collecting things. I also got called a dragon geek by a mermaid who had dealings with Thalassus. You know, that massive fish from the Washanko Isles. And I got to try out a few cheese jokes, all while trying to civilize that warrior Fock. Ah, what great times they were. Oh, and finally, one last thing. All the hilarious adventurers tripping over the cheese rolls during that cheese rolling race.
Well, it all sounds like an absolute blast. I can't believe I missed out. So that opportunity arose after you had retired as a teacher and just moved to the Varrock Museum? Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Could you tell me about your role here a little bit?
Certainly. I am a professor of unnatural history at the Varrock Museum.
I'm sorry, did you say unnatural history? What does that mean?
Yes, it's a fascinating area. I am the head of the museum's unnatural history department, and my focus is mostly on researching the more unusual species, such as mythical beasts or sentient plants. Yet I suppose one of my most reputable research areas is that of the dragonkin and dragons.
Ah, I had a feeling this conversation may steer into your fascinating work with the dragonkin and dragons. This is where your stories get particularly exciting, isn't it? What can you tell us about your most recent research?
I guess I should be slightly cautious about what I reveal here.
Mr. Mordaut sits and contemplates before picking up a rather old but well-kept journal from his desk. I can just make out Hannibus hunted on the spine.
This book was the key to unlocking many mysteries surrounding the legendary dragon riders, Jack. It was written by Hannibus Etera, one of the last of the Iluzhanka.
He passes the book to me. But aren't the dragon riders supposed to be a myth? That's what my mother always used to say. Where did you find this journal?
That would be telling, Jack.
I hand the journal back to Mr. Mordaut. Well, fair enough. I guess you must have your secrets. But you must explain how this book was the key to unlocking many mysteries surrounding the Dragon Riders. A lot of my readers will honestly think they are myth.
Well, fortunately, the World Guardian, you have heard of them, right? Of course, they're not exactly the World Guardian anymore, but we'll refer to them as that anyway.
Who hasn't heard of that legend at this point, Mr. Mordaut? Please, do continue.
Well, after I had found this journal and analysed it thoroughly, I figured it might give me some clues as to where Hannibus had been turned to stone. It turns out that my theory was right. With the World Guardian's assistance, we actually managed to find and free Hannibus from a stone statue that the Zamarakian Majorat in Nacra had placed him in. A lot of my assistance was remote, as I'm, well, not a fighter, but the World Guardian had assured me that they had found and rescued Hannibus.
Mr. Mordaut, so you're telling me Hannibus, the mythical dragon rider, is out there right now? And you worked with the World Guardian?
I would not fib about such matters, Jack. I eventually got to meet the noble Hannibus when he and the World Guardian needed my assistance to decipher something. Regarding the World Guardian, we have worked together several times now.
So let me get this straight. You've not only worked with the legendary World Guardian several times, but you've also met Hannibus too?
That's correct on both accounts. Meeting Hannibus was especially overwhelming. It was a huge shock when this living, breathing dragon rider appeared in my tiny little office, I tell you. I have his signature on this piece of parchment here, see?
I look over the piece of well-kept parchment with the ancient being's signature on it. I can certainly understand why Mr. Mordaut felt giddy in his presence. I feel pretty overwhelmed just looking at the signature. Imagine meeting a mythical, well actually I guess legendary figure like Hannibus. I carefully hand the parchment back to Mr. Mordaut. Well, overall Mr. Mordaut, it seems you've been involved with some absolutely incredible things. But there are other things I still need to talk to you about. One area of your work, which I would also love to delve into, is your role as the research lead at the Orthan Archaeological Dig Site in Anachronia. Could we maybe have a chat about that?
I could do something far better than just tell you about it, Jack. Why don't we pay the dig site a visit?
Won't it take us days to get there though? Mr. Mordaut smirks a little as he hands me a beige-stained scroll. Before I can react, everything shakes violently and I'm whisked away to what feels like another dimension. As I land on a dusty, rocky ground, it takes me a while to shake off the dizziness. As I gradually stand up, my senses are completely filled with new experiences. I smell the humidity of tropical plants, hear beautiful bird calls with some kind of roar in the background, all the while seeing an incredible, yet kind of intimidating, metallic dragonkin statue staring down at me. As I regain my composure, I take a short stroll around the area. It appears that the archaeologists here have made a fine effort in transforming this area of Anachronia into a base camp of sorts, with excellent facilities like some pretty lush sleeping quarters and a revitalising spa. After finishing my self-guided tour, I run up the stairs and enter the town hall, where Mr. Mordaut is already sitting at his desk awaiting my arrival. He announces proudly,
"Welcome to Anachronia."
"What an absolutely incredible place, Mr. Mordaut. I don't think I've ever seen something quite so mind-blowing in all of my life."
Indeed it is. I'm so glad you like it. Your excitement reminds me of when I first landed here on Anachronia. The luscious plants, the dragonkin ruins. Ah, yes. I remember it now.
So, returning to the interview, we know you were assigned here as a site manager, but why?
I was commissioned by King Rold Romanis of Varrock to be his research lead, attempting to uncover the dragonkin mysteries of this newly discovered fossil island. It was not an opportunity I could pass up, so I began recruiting many experts such as Eva the Architect, and the same World Guardian to assist me with the boat construction for the expedition. Once they had completed the boat, I waved them off towards the island. After a short amount of time, I was told they successfully arrived and had constructed a town hall in this base camp. That was enough for Giles to move me in to begin conducting my research. Initially, I was surprised to find living creatures and not just fossils here, as this island was far too north to sustain viable life. Because of this odd discrepancy, I decided to name the island Anachronia, or the Land Out of Time. Despite it being unintentional, it appears that name has stuck in academic circles, as well as amongst common folk too.
You must have enjoyed your time being here. I mean, outside, conducting research.
I have loved every second of it, to be honest. It has given me the opportunity to be outside of my stuffy office in the Varrock Museum, and instead study at the front line of research again.
Has it all been smooth sailing on this island, in terms of research?
Research is very rarely smooth sailing, Jack, let me tell you. So, no, it hasn't all been smooth sailing, but not thanks to the usual suspects like bad weather or brittle artifacts breaking. No, this time it was the dangerous Mr. Kerapak. It was frustratingly inconvenient when that lunatic tried to raise the base camp by sending crazed dinosaurs to attack us. I had to carelessly pack up my notes and flee the island. Luckily, I didn't lose anything and was fortunately able to return once the World Guardian had taken care of that issue.
You were attacked here by Kerapak? That's crazy. Why did he want to destroy this place?
I don't believe it was a lust for power. Kerapak was a highly intelligent scientist and would do anything to achieve his goals, no matter the cost. He was extremely forthright. Shall we say that us archaeologists and the World Guardian were simply getting in the way of his worldview, and so we needed to be eradicated. But yes, being a target was certainly a pretty otherworldly experience for me. Strangely, after the World Guardian had taken care of Kerapak, some of the archaeologists here claimed to have seen him whilst excavating. I found this slightly unbelievable, if I'm honest, but thought it best to contact the World Guardian about it, just in case. It was quite a humorous exchange, actually, looking back on it now. "It's not possible," the World Guardian said. Ho ho ho. Indeed, the World Guardian was correct. It seems that Kerapak had a son called Vicendifus, who shared some physical resemblance to Kerapak. Fortunately, unlike his father, Mr. Vicendifus is a fine fellow who has taken over his father's research, working on a method to help the infertility issues of the Iluzhanka.
It sounds like you've had a rather stressful, as well as awfully violent time, Mr. Mordaut. But it's great to hear you're still enjoying being here, right, considering all of that? But when were you able to start your proper research?
Well, after Mr. Kerapak had been dealt with, I could finally get to work properly without the threat of extermination. As the site manager, I created my archaeology teams and deployed them throughout Anachronia. One day, I remember the island shaking quite vigorously. Once this had stopped, this volcanic activity must have shifted some land, and some of my teams reported the uncovering of new Dragonkin artifacts after that. It was at this point that I contacted the World Guardian again. Coincidentally, they had been trading in archaeology and were becoming a pretty well-known entity in the archaeology world. So I wrote them a letter requesting their aid with the new artifacts which have been uncovered here in the Orphan Dig site. I remember writing something jokey, something like, "Ah yes, I have the cheese, you bring the crackers."
And I assume the World Guardian accepted your invitation?
Yes, they did, humbly. As soon as they were on board, the discoveries really began to kick-start. Firstly, the World Guardian managed to connect all of our archaeological sites, allowing swift access between them using the teleportation devices, like the one over there. They were then able to find ancient texts written by none other than Varanus, the legendary Nodon Dragonkin hunter, who is renowned for sacrificing himself to bind the mighty Raksha beast.
I've never heard of Varanus. He sounds like he was an impressive hunter.
That he was, and a hugely brave Dragonkin too, sacrificing himself for the greater good. Unfortunately, his research partner, Skeka, mourned his death considerably.
That's another name which I'm afraid I'm not familiar with. Could you tell us more about Skeka, Mr. Mordaut?
Yes. I'm sorry. I can get so passionate in my specialty sometimes that I forget the general public's knowledge of Dragonkin is often minimal. From the ancient records, we understand Skeka to be an Augur Dragonkin, who is adept in the fields of biology, physiology, chemistry, and taxonomy. She named and classified many of the creatures found throughout Orphan, and aided Varanus heavily in refining his hunting methods.
That is really cool. So, you have mentioned that this area is called the Orphan Dig site, but would you actually mind explaining to me what Orphan actually is? What does it mean?
Certainly. In the Dragonkin's language, Orphan literally means first city. As far as we understand, Orphan was the city the Dragonkin built when they first settled on Gielinor after coming out of hiding from the Abyss. Overall, Orphan appears to have been shaping up to be a perfect city for the Dragonkin, until a highly goal-driven fledgling with an unhealthy amount of overconfidence ruined it all.
Now, this wouldn't potentially be the same Dragonkin who attempted to destroy the Anachronian base camp recently, would it?
Leopards can seemingly never change their spots, Jack. The Dragonkin who attempts to destroy the base camp today, and who was responsible for the destruction of Orphan in the past, was indeed Kerapak.
How can one fledgling be responsible for the entire destruction of a huge city?
The butterfly effect can be cruel sometimes. Kerapak had found a way to access a particular kind of energy, which was toxic to the Elder Gods, called Shadow Anima. He harnessed this Shadow Anima into a device and decided to set it off without his council's approval. Jas, the Elder Goddess of Time, noticed, burned Orphan to the ground, and bound the Dragonkin to her service.
To think that such a small action could have devastating consequences. Do we know how this affected any of the other Dragonkin we've been speaking about? Skeka, for instance?
Many of the Dragonkin could not cope with the intense pain that came from Jas's curse, and sadly, the World Guardian discovered that Skeka was included in this. She created a device which she had hoped would swap her consciousness with the Raksha beast to rid her of the pain. Unfortunately, the device malfunctioned, and her mind was instead split amongst the Orca Dragonkin's test subjects, a group of salamanders who became known as the Zolo.
What an awful fate.
Indeed, it is a sad tale. We're not entirely sure whether the device completely failed, though. The World Guardian found that the Zolo did manage to create something. Why didn't you take a look for yourself? I'll get one of my team to take you to the Zolo City dig site. Use the teleportation device, of course. We don't want you getting attacked by anything on the way.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that you'll actually let me look at an archaeological dig site?
Of course. How else are we supposed to get the word out to the general Gielinorians otherwise?
Mr. Mordaut looks around for an archaeologist that looks free. He spots one and calls him over.
Cathar, would you mind taking this young journalist, Jack, to the Zolo City?
Of course, Mr. Mordaut. It's a pleasure to meet you, Jack. Are you ready to go?
I stand there, still bewildered at the offer. Sure, thank you very much. I was a little more stable on my feet after my second bout of teleportation.
It takes a little while to get used to teleportation. But hey, you seem to be a natural.
Thanks. I'm not sure if I'm quite used to it yet, to be honest. I think that might have just been a fluke.
I guess we'll find out on the way back. The Zolo City entrance is just over here.
As Cathar guides me into the Zolo City, an absolutely breathtaking place presents itself. There is gold everywhere, but not just gold that's been strewn about all over the place, but gold which has been meticulously organised and placed. The small gold buildings are etched beautifully with particular geometric engravings. They look like they were home to something. Those salamanders, maybe, the Zolo. Or in other words, Skekker's split conscious mind. As I'm contemplating, I hear a whispering sound. I look to Cathar. Did you hear that?
Hear what?
I could have sworn I heard some whispering.
I'm afraid I didn't hear it, but don't worry. I'm pretty sure you're not going crazy. Some of the archaeologists have reported whispering noises while excavating in here, and tools going missing too.
Are you saying the Zolo might still be around?
Who knows? Maybe. We've seen no sign of them though, so it is a particularly odd phenomenon.
That really is bizarre. But honestly, Cathar, I still can't get over the gold in here. I'm totally flabbergasted.
It's pretty wondrous, isn't it?
It certainly is. Did you ever find out what this huge golden pyramid was built for?
We're not entirely sure, but Mr. Mordaut believes it to be a non-functioning replica of the device Skika used to split her mind. It appears, even in death, Skika's love for science, and her passion for it, still lived on.
How can her passion continue even in death, Cathar? What do you mean by that?
I guess what I'm trying to say is the Zolo inherited her incredible drive, and as a result, they constructed this gracious city.
Cathar spent some more time kindly guiding me through the Zolo city. He even took the time to show me how archaeologists excavate for artifacts using an instrument called a mattock. I could have spent an eternity studying the beautiful gold buildings of the Zolo city. But dusk was fast approaching, and I needed to get back to finish my interview with Mr. Mordaut. Whatever it truly was that created this city, it certainly is an astonishing place. We returned to Mr. Mordaut in Anachronia's base camp, using the teleportation device again.
It's been great to show you around, Jack. Hopefully we'll cross paths again one day.
Cathar, the pleasure's been all mine. Thank you so much. As Cathar leaves, I look back to Mr. Mordaut, and we continue with the interview.
So, Jack, what did you think of the Zolo city?
I have no words, Mr. Mordaut. The city was utterly spectacular. The beautiful engraved gold buildings. Thank you so much for letting me visit it.
I'm best pleased to hear you enjoyed your visit there.
I very much did. Skeka was an amazing dragonkin, and the Zolo city, I think, is testament to that.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Well, Mr. Mordaut, evening is fast approaching, and I believe you have a meeting with curator Haig Halen at the museum. Could I possibly pry into what that meeting is about?
Yes, that's right. Thank you for the reminder. The curator would like to find out more about my most recent project studying the undead dragon Vorkath. But alas, this seems to be a story for another day. We'd best get back, so I'm not late for said meeting.
Sure, I totally understand. I'm sure it would have been another one of your fascinating stories. But if we're finished here, I'm guessing that means you're going to give me another scroll. Another small smile appears on Mr. Mordaut's face as he hands me another page-stained scroll. Again, before I can react, I am whisked away and appear back in Mr. Mordaut's office in the Varrock Museum. Standing on my 2 feet this time though.
It seems like you are becoming used to teleportation, Jack.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. A little more than before perhaps, but let's not jinx it. Mr. Mordaut laughs at my comment. It's been absolutely incredible speaking to you today, Mr. Mordaut, and having the opportunity to visit the amazing Anachronia. Thank you so much for not only taking the time to talk to me, but to also let me visit that wonderful dig site.
Not at all, Jack. I have very much enjoyed it. And please, don't be a stranger.
I wave goodbye to Mr. Mordaut and leave his office. As I go back through the door and start to walk towards the stairs, I notice a purple door rather than a red door. I swear it was red when I came in. Just one of Mr. Mordaut's intricacies, I think to myself. On my way out of the Varrock Museum, I reflect on the experience I had speaking to Mr. Mordaut. An incredibly intelligent dragon, deemed a failure by his father, has been involved in making some outstanding discoveries throughout Gielinor. I have learnt so much speaking to him and visiting Anachronia. It's going to be amazing writing this up into an article. Perhaps Benny might finally accept my addition this time. We'll have to see. As I'm walking through Varrock Central Square, I contemplate making the long journey home. Maybe actually I should stay at an inn tonight. I wonder if the double room in the Blue Moon Inn is available.